Hi, you guys, and welcome to Nosy Bystanders Live. I am your host, Chief Nosy Bystander. That's one word. And we got to get into this other story because CNN just broke this story 4 hours ago in regards to three more missing Americans in Mexico in the Tamaulipas area. So we have to talk about it because what's going on? Okay, what's really going on? And it's a mess. It's a whole mess. The whole story is a mess. So I wanted to get into it and discuss the story. And I actually have the headline pulled up here. I'm going to share my screen before we get into to see who's all in the building. So 1 second. So this will be discussing, three missing female Americans, middle-aged women. So we have to talk about this story. But first, let's see who's all in the building, okay? Because that story it's wild. I read it, but I read the whole thing already, but we're gonna go over it again in detail because it's a mess. And I have the maps of where they went missing, as well as where the four Americans were ambushed previously this week. So I want to talk about both of those. Okay. So let's see who's all up in the building. Hello, jazzy old lady. Hello, outspoken introvert. Hello, Cami. Hello, Deandra. Hello, Amber. Hello, Courtney. Hello, BK Sexy. How you doing today? Hello, Luma Negro says it's more than that. I know it's more. I know it's probably a lot more missing people in Mexico. But we got to start with the stories we do know. This is from Brenna. Hello. Hello, Just Bougie. Hello, Leah. Hello, Stephanie. Hello, Casement says, I'm ready to get into Mrs. Cheryl Orange. We got to get into her too, because we talked about this on Friday. We didn't do a show yesterday, but we talked about this on Friday in regards to what she actually knew. And I think she knows a lot more than she's letting on to. Hello, Lexi. Hello, Darnita. This is me. Hello, Kwanda. Hello, Ezrika. Hello, Half Crazy. Hello, Nosy Inquisitive says, hello, Chief and everyone. You support Black media. Remember to smash that like button. Please do. We are a media company. Smash that like button. On your way in or your way out. It depends on how you got here. Okay. It depends on how and when you got here. But when you're leaving, just like the liquor that you take to your cousin's baby shower, take it when you leave. Okay, that's how you treat the like buttons here. Hello, Jerica. How you doing today? Hello, Yolanda. Hello, Jalen. Hello, Topher. Says, I'm so glad the internet is internet. HD. I have a workaround for the internet. So my internet is fixed, but I use an alternative route. I entered into this digital studio into two different devices because if the internet goes out, we're protected. But thank you. Hello, R. Virgil. Hello, Callie. Anybody here from Facebook? Hello, Tovania. Hello, Soothing Zen Sounds. Hello, Minnesota Manny. Hello, Helen. Hello, Danny. How you doing today? Hello, Vappy. Hello, Deja. How you doing? Cheryl, all the way from Facebook. Hello, blessed and highly favored. Hello, hello, Kimberly, all the way from Facebook says I'm here on time. Yes, that's right. Hello, Diana, all the way from Facebook. Hello, Letitia. Hello, is it Asia or is it Aisha? Hello, Aisha. Hello, Megan. Hello, Auntie Tonisha. Hello, Diana, all the way from Facebook. Hello, Nisa. And if I missed you, I apologize. We got to get into this story. Here, let me share my screen. So there were three more missing women. They went missing 2 weeks ago, but the story didn't get a whole lot of coverage until the four Americans went missing. They're all American, I apologize. When the four other people went missing. So CNN putting this timeline together, like, hey, we already did the story. Now, CNN covered the story 2 weeks ago, but they updated the story. So, because they're like, come on now, the stark, it's stark, similarities between it. So CNN, shout out to them for updating this story that happened 2 weeks prior because it is rather interesting. So before I share the story, I think it would be important if I showed you the screenshots because this is going to make a lot more sense. So what I went ahead and did that CNN did but didn't post was actually post the images of the region for where everyone was supposed to be. Okay, so I'm going to pull up my map here and you can see that area that's kind of like highlighted called Nuevo Leon is where the three missing women was supposed to be. That's where they were supposed to be. I went ahead and zoomed in again, and I actually drew a line on the different regions. So it kind of like separates it like a state, right? Like if this was in America, I just drew a line where the one state starts and the other state begins. And the first dot here where it says Renovis, that's the port of entry that the three females had crossed. And they were going to cross it again to get into Nuevo Leon. This is the port of entry where the four Americans were ambushed. So CNN is reporting that in this region here, right here, I'm sorry, this region right here, that's where all seven of these individuals were either ambushed or went missing. Okay, so I just want to clear that up so we have an understanding. So let me pull up this article and then we're going to begin. Okay, one moment. So it says three women missing after crossing the border 2 weeks ago. And this is again being reported by CNN. Polo Sandoval and Melissa Alonso and Emma Tucker. So they're reporting on the story. It says three women are believed to be missing in Mexico after they crossed the U.S. border traveling from Texas to sell clothes at a local flea market more than 2 weeks ago. Mexican authorities are investigating the disappearance of the three women, identified by police as Marina Perez Rios, her sister Martinza Perez Rios, and their friend, who happens to be 53-year-old Dora Sanez. I hope I'm saying that right. It says the group crossed the border on February 24th. And the chief of police told CNN that on Saturday, he said they were headed to the city of Montemorales, I hope I'm saying that correctly, in Mexico state of Nuevo Leon to sell clothes at a flea market. The flea market is roughly around 3 hours from that port of entry where the three women had entered. The three women went missing a week before the four Americans were kidnapped on March 3rd in Matamoros, which is roughly 300 miles east of Morelos. I hope I'm saying that correctly. So they're saying that a week before the four people were ambushed, these three women went missing prior. CNN said we reported it, but then now everybody's putting two and two together. Like, how many more missing people are going missing in the Tamaulipas region? Let me get to some of your comments. This from Naya says, why did they unalive the black ones? The three women who are missing are presumed dead. So it's not about just killing the black ones. These three women are also missing, but there's no word if they're dead or not, but it's presumed that they are. So it's not a black or Hispanic thing. It's like, we don't know if these women are dead or alive. I just want to clear that up. This from Helen says, crossing the border to sell clothes, wouldn't it sell more in the US, pesos versus US? No, so it depends on what they were selling. So when I used to work at H&M, tons and tons of people. Okay, so let me just try to break down the story. When I used to work at H&M, during the first week of Lent, here on the border, it's called Holy Week. So like you would probably, if you had work, if you work on Sundays and you work at a super religious place like, I don't know, Chick-fil-A, they'd be closed on Sundays, right? So for the full week, because Mexico is really a Catholic nation, they are a lot of the stores and stuff are closed in Mexico for Holy Week. So it's Fat Tuesday, Ash Wednesday. You got the gist, right? Before Lent. So that whole week they're off of work in Mexico, and then a lot of them very close to the border, but obviously not here in the US. When they're off that full week, what they do is they will travel to the United States for vacation. It's a vacation for them. They travel, they come, they eat, they go to Airbnbs, they go to whatever people do in America during Holy Week. So during Holy Week, what a lot of them do, a lot of individuals in Mexico will do is they will purchase a lot of stuff, e-commerce stuff that they can sell online on either eBay, their Etsy shops, you name it. What also Americans will do during Holy Week, specifically if you live close to the border, you're very familiar with Holy Week. If you're on the border and I told you what Holy Week was, you're like, I know what that is. A lot of Americans will go to Mexico to sell goods that they can't otherwise get here. So clothes, jewelry, you name it. That's just what they do, because in Mexico, they got that whole week off. So if you're selling your stuff, you're probably going to make a killing during Holy Week. And they went missing on the 24th, which is roughly holy, which I believe it's holy. If that's Holy Week. Hold on. Let me pull up my calendar. That is. So Fat Tuesday was February 21st. They went missing Friday the 24th, the day after 2 days after Ash Wednesday. So it's right it's right on par for Holy Week. So it makes sense. They were going to go Friday, probably sell a bunch of stuff for Saturday and Sunday, and then probably return Sunday night or Monday morning. So that's what it seems like that they were doing. So it's not unusual to sell goods in Mexico during Holy Week. This is from Illuminegro says, do you think Mexico gonna help the US find them? It seems like things are tense between the US and Mexico. The Mexican authorities, they don't have a choice. We're their allies. You don't get a choice to help. So imagine it like being your husband or your wife and your child goes missing. And someone says, do you think your husband's going to help you find your daughter? Yeah, he's my ally. He ain't got a choice. This is his child too. Specifically if he doesn't have a reason why she's missing. So imagine the United States and Mexico as a married, a mirepoix, is a relationship. So they help each other because that's their duty to help each other. So they don't get a choice to not help each other. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. What's up, April? How you doing today? Okay. So let me get back into this article here. So it goes on to say that two of those Americans, Saeed and Brown, those were the ones who were killed, but they were delivered back to the U.S. diplomats on Thursday. And then it says, we know the timelines. Six total people were arrested in the ambush of the four Americans. And then it said they also issued an apology. Now back to this story. It says a source in the Nuevo Leon Attorney General's office told CNN the investigation into the three missing women involves various police agencies, a search committee, as well as drones, dogs, and vehicles. So they've been searching for these women for 2 weeks. The interesting part of the story says the last signal received from the women was in Tamaulipas. And this is according to sources. Upon their arrival in Tamaulipas, the women told their contacts at the flea market that they had made a wrong turn. Sound familiar? That sounds familiar, right? They made a wrong turn and somehow they ended up missing. Same as the four other individuals who made a wrong turn and somehow ended up missing. Okay, so remember from the map here, this is the port of entry that the three women took right here. This is the port of entry that they took. This region here, right here, all of this is Tamaulipas. You see, I'm going to zoom out. That is all Tamaulipas, this whole region here. Where they needed to be was on the other side here in Nuevo Leon, and they got lost. So they got lost in this region, which apparently is known for violence and kidnapping. Okay, so that is where they got lost, and they told their contacts at the flea market, we're on our way, we just got lost. This from Kimberly says, I feel like three women traveling alone seems more vulnerable. It's possible, but we don't know if they've had a history of going here often. Do you understand what I mean? So I don't want to just say like, oh, they didn't know what they were doing. There's no evidence that they didn't go there prior several times. Specifically, if you're familiar with that region, right? If they were supposed to be in Nuevo Leon, that means that they knew where they were going. They didn't just randomly take a dart and throw it at the Mexican map and be like, here is a, what's it called? Here's a flea market that we're going to visit. They didn't do that. That's not what they did. So it sounds like they've been here before. This is from Hutch says, did anyone else get a commercial? We always get commercial breaks, you guys. This is YouTube. So don't be shocked at it. If you don't have a YouTube Red account or YouTube Premium account, you're always going to get ads. There's no way around it. Okay. There's just no way around that. This from Kimberly says, have they traveled there before? There's no evidence that they have not. So we're just going to just assume they've been there before. Let me get back into this article one moment. So then it says that Marina's husband spent all week calling his wife. When he hadn't heard from her by Monday, he turned this information over to the investigators. The chief said the department confirmed the three women crossed the border at that port of entry I showed you guys in a 1995 Chevy Silverado. Once they crossed, it was confirmed by the FBI. The FBI said on Sunday and told CNN they're unable to provide comment on an ongoing investigation, but that it is relentlessly pursuing all options when it comes to protecting American people, and that it doesn't change when they are endangered across the border. The State Department spoke and told CNN on Saturday, said they are aware of the reports about the three the 3 U.S. citizens missing in Mexico. The Department of State had no higher priority than the welfare of U.S. citizens. And then it says the chief urged the public to call local authorities with any information that could lead to the whereabouts of the women. So these 3 women who have gone missing, it's like the missing people are just piling up in Tamaulipas. It's like the missing people are just piling up there. They're just completely piling up. And it's almost as if that no one knows what to do. When you don't make these stories nationwide, right? Had the story of the 3 women been a nationwide story, it could have. There's a good chance that the 4 individuals who were ambushed in Matamoros, it could have prevented them from going there. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's like when those stories don't make national news, the people don't know about them, and then they ended up getting got because they're like, well, had I known that 3 other people, hold on, had I known that 3 other people had gone missing at the border, I probably would have postponed my trip, or I probably would have done something else. But it was like there was no national news about the 3 women. So it's like more people are crossing into the border. You understand what I mean? And more people are going up missing, specifically in that Tamaulipas region. Let me get to some of your questions. What's up, Busa Shug? I hope I'm saying that right. This from Ezra says, what type of cartel operates like this? Is there an MO to constantly pick up random people? That is a great question. I don't know, because this is not how the cartel normally operates. They're not in the business of kidnapping people. So I don't know. I've never seen it before. I've never seen it before. I've seen gruesome stories about what the cartel does, but I've never in my entire life have ever seen them just taking people. Ever. I've never seen that. I've never seen that. Now, now that you asked that, there is a bit more information that somebody sent me an article, and let me pull it up, and I'm going to share it on my screen here. It's in regards to the missing 4, because it's being reported by ABC News. ABC 15, it's a local news affiliate. Hold on. Let me share my screen here. Okay. Okay, so we're going to get into this. There's a fat ass detail in this article that I find incredibly disturbing. And if you guys haven't read this article, you're just in time. But let me get to some more of your comments. This from Illuminegro says, crazy. Yeah. This from Deidre says, they used to just target people, and now we all can get it for real, for real. Moo Woo says, Steph, they mean, does anyone get ads? Because normally on live, there aren't ads. However, I remember you mentioning that you're allowed ads on your live. I am. So if you're watching someone's live stream and there's no ads, it means they're not monetized. Or it means that their ad is pre-recorded and they forgot to set ads, or they're not monetized. So our page here is monetized, so you're going to get ads. There's just no way around it. But yes, that's correct. This from Amber says, it seems like they can and will unalive anyone in Mexico. I mean, that's a possibility. This is from Beautiful Aries says, does anyone else feel like these stories are distracting from the big situation going on? I'm in Texas and all I see is Mexico, Mexico, Mexico. Well, yeah, I mean, you're privy to Mexico news, but there's a lot going on with those banks. And we might have to get into those tomorrow, because honey, it's a hot ghetto mess. So just a quick brief thing for you guys. If you don't know, the 16th largest bank in America, Silicon Valley, just went under. And you're probably thinking, oh, that's nothing new. The banks go under all the time, which is true. Banks do go under all the time, but they're usually tiny, usually teeny tiny, like credit unions. You know what I mean? But when a bank that big goes under, it has a ripple effect. So currently it's affecting all tech companies in the Silicon Valley region, which includes Facebook and Instagram and all these other places. But it also includes Etsy. So if you have an Etsy shop or you purchase on Etsy or you're waiting for a refund from Etsy, you may not get that for some time. Yeah. It also includes industries like Roku. Roku, like 95% of Roku's assets are at that bank. So if you are a network that is primarily, it's hard to explain because we have a Roku network, but we're not, our monetization isn't through Roku. It's hard to explain. But if you're a Roku, if you're a big, large Roku channel like Netflix, and people download the Netflix app in Roku, Roku gets paid. Netflix gets paid through Roku every time somebody signs up on Netflix through their Roku device. So Netflix won't see that money. So let's say, for example, 28 million people download Netflix and pay $9.99. Let's say that's $1 billion. I don't really know the math. That's $1 billion that Netflix won't get. It affects a lot. It's a ripple effect, a big fat ass ripple effect. Okay. So there's going to be more and more and more and more and more companies coming forward telling you that they bank with them. Tons of people are like, I mean, I've seen videos on TikTok and Facebook where people, big industries people who work in HR says, we don't know how to process our payroll because that bank is holding all our money. So we may not be able to pay our workers like crazy. This from Tiffany Elite. What's up, Tiffany? Says the U.S. is about to put a travel ban on Mexico. They can't put a full travel ban on Mexico, but they can put a travel ban on specific ports of entry, which I think they should. I think they should I don't think they should put a travel advisory on specific ports of entry. I think they need to close those ports of entry. I don't think Americans or individuals from other countries who come to America to cross the border for vacations, because tons of people come from like Ireland and Europe, they come to the US and then they will go through the port of entry, right? So I think the US should close those ports. I think they should close that port of entry, Brownsville and the other one those 3 women traveled through. This is from Osei, I think that's her name, says, oh, wow, I didn't even know there were more people. Yeah. This is from Jeanette, says, bank situation. I haven't heard anything about that. Child, SBS, Silicon Valley, so SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, is the 16th largest bank in America. They could not pay their $2.5 billion worth of debts. So the bank, it crashed. So the FDIC had to take over the bank. And they said, if you have less than $250,000, you're going to get your money. If you have more than $250,000, it's going to take us a couple of weeks because we got to start selling off assets to pay you that money. The problem is that 93.7% of people who bank at that bank have more than $250,000. So it's not just people, it's companies who have to pay payroll and all this others turn the lights on. So they don't have access to their money. And those industries happen to be Etsy, which is a large company, Roku, and dozens others. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. A lot of people bank there. So a lot of people may not get a check next Friday. I mean, that's just on GP. This is from Belinda, says, is there any evidence that them robbing people, or is it just a killing spree? I don't know, because we haven't got the full details yet on this story. So we don't know. I'm talking about all 7 of them. We don't know if this is a robbery and a taking. We don't know nothing because we haven't heard from Latavia or Eric Williams in the first case, nor have we heard anything from these 3 women, and they're still missing. So we don't know if this is a robbery gone bad and then they just take the bodies. We don't know if this is just straight up just abduction. We don't know. We don't know. And this from Callie says organ harvesting. I don't know, but we're going to get into it in this story. So this story is by ABC 15. That's all I know. I don't really know what publication this is. Oh, WPDE, ABC 15. Doesn't tell me the city. I don't know what city this is. So it says that what we know about the deadly Mexico kidnapping of the four South Carolinians. So it says that Eric Williams, Latavia Zindel, and Shaid crossed the border for cosmetic surgery, officials said, and it's been reported that a fifth person traveled with the group, but she didn't cross into the border. We already know that. It gets into more details. It tells you that this is the first person that was detained, Jose Guadalupe. That's not his name. His name is Jose N as in Nancy. And then there's another individual who was named Guadalupe. So there are two people. So the story should be edited. Mara is the home of warring factions between the Gulf Cartel. During a press conference, Attorney General in Tamaulipas, Irving Barros, said that the group kidnapped was not directly targeted. And I quote, he says, from the exchange of investigations took place, everything seemed like it was a misunderstanding, Barros said in Spanish. The shootout in Marahuatis were so bad that the U.S. consulate issued an alert during the danger on the day the group was abducted, and below is the timeline. So it says that March 3rd, the group of four, who was followed by a truck around 11:45 until they were eventually crashed. The suspects fired their weapons and the four people hit the ground. A video shared on social media that you guys already saw. It said the victim later told authorities they were taken to a clinic in an ambulance after the shooting. What does it? I didn't see them getting taken into an ambulance. Did y'all see that? Or am I, you know what I mean? I'm gonna just read that back. It said, the victims later told authorities they were taken to a clinic in an ambulance after the shooting. Now, they may have been taken to a clinic, but they never fixed Eric Williams' wounds. They never fixed his wounds. So what were they doing at the clinic if you weren't gonna? He was shot 3 times. So why did they heal his wounds? Mm. So I'm going to continue. It says the fifth friend who stayed in Brownville while they crossed the border called the police because she was unable to find them. Brownsville Police Department spoke with Martin Scoville later and said that officers followed protocol by checking the local hospitals and jails after receiving a report of the missing people. A detective was assigned to the case within an hour and then alerted the FBI after realizing the people had crossed into Mexico. Shortly after, FBI took over the case, and the videos of the victims began to circulate on social media. March 7th, the victims were found. Mexican authorities put out a request for information through email and phone number, and after receiving some tips, they discovered the 4 victims in a wooden house at 8:30 a.m., and the house was about 30 minutes from the crash scene where the victims were taken. The deceased victims were covered by blankets or sheets, a source close to the investigation told ABC, and the source said that one of the deceased was wearing a surgical robe when he was found. What? This is from F. Sanders says, from what I read, the ambulance was stolen, possibly. He was wearing a surgical robe. Smash that like button, y'all. Don't be ignorant. This one, K. Smith says, how was Cheryl dropped off at the hotel early Friday morning when check-in time is 3 p.m.? She was at a Motel 6. I don't know if their check-in time is as kosher as the Hilton. Okay. So, or as conservative as the Hilton. So I don't want to put too much weight on that because not all hotels are the same. That she checked into a motel, not a hotel. Okay. She checked into a motel, not a hotel. So, I wouldn't be too hard pressed on that 3 p.m. check-in time. Okay. This is, okay, I'm just being honest with you. This from Topher says, wait, who was doing the recording? I feel like the local wouldn't record I feel like a local wouldn't record the cartel. That was from somebody's window. So maybe the cartel didn't realize that somebody was recording. Maybe they did it for their safety. Who knows? They didn't do it right in their face. It looked like it was from a ways away and up. Like it looked like it was up. So I believe it was from somebody's apartment. This from Amber says, okay, I'm done and very confused. Same. Maybe they tried to save him. Possibly, right? Because you got American citizens and you shouldn't. So it's possible that they tried to save them. It is. It's quite possible that they tried to save them because they realized, oh, we messed up. These are not who we think they are. These are actually American citizens and we don't want no smoke. So we need to try to save their lives. It is quite possible that they were trying to save him. That is a possibility. And so is organ harvesting. I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking of that when I saw surgical gown, but it doesn't make any sense because if he was at a hospital and he had on that surgical gown, maybe it's a backwoods hospital of some sort, maybe it's a backwoods alley hospital, because even if he died, they should have just left him at the hospital. Why try to save him and then just take him and put him in a shack, a one-room shack on the outskirts of Matamoros? That's weird. That didn't make any sense. So the back alley doctor couldn't save him, so you just dump him. This is from Stilettos in the Ghetto. Stilettos in the Ghetto says, that's crazy. OMG, it is. Deandra says, Gen Z Carter is sloppy and embarrassing. What are they doing? This is from Gumbolala says, Steph, I'm an ICU nurse and there's a small window of time to harvest organs. Because as soon as they shot them, they were very quick to throw them in the back of that van and take them. You understand what I mean? As soon as that shootout occurred, they were very quick to take them, Or is that just me? Did anyone else notice that they were, the moment that they got them, they were very quick to take them. They were very, very, very quick to take them. And I thought that was strange. And that's just my personal opinion. I thought it was a bit strange that they had, because it's just not common for them to do that. Like, it's not common for the cartel to take people. So why did they immediately take them? This from Topher says, I'm trying to figure out the motive for Cheryl doing these interviews. Clear her name up? I don't know. That's a great question. This from Kay Smith says, I read the website. It says 3 p.m. Maybe they threw him a little extra cash to let him check in early. I don't know. You got to ask Cheryl that. There's a lot of different reasons. There's some motels that let you leave your luggage there, but won't let you stay there. And she did state that she had the men's luggage. So maybe she just waited for check-in, It's quite possible. It's quite possible. I don't know, though. But she was at the hotel. It's not like she was anywhere else. Not like she could leave. She didn't have a car. So if she says that she was at the hotel, she was at the hotel. What she was doing from 9 to 3 o'clock is really her business. But it doesn't have any relevance to the story because it doesn't matter when she checked into. Do you understand what I'm trying to do? Playing semantics with the time is unnecessary because she had nothing to do with any of the story except that she was the only one who didn't cross. So whether she walked around the city and ate donuts until 3 p.m., it actually doesn't matter. She wasn't there, right? So I think that's the thinking you gotta kind of get into your brain. She wasn't there, so it doesn't matter what she was doing from 9 to 3 p.m. They was quick. They were very quick. They were incredibly quick. As soon as it happened, they were already immediately throwing them in the car. This from Ezrika says, I think they moved them around while they were trying to figure out what to do with them, and they just happened to be rescued before they could. But why were they in the back of an ambulance, and why were they in surgical gowns? Were they trying to save them? Were they trying to harvest their organs? The kidney is about $40,000. You know, he said, "One we hear from Latavia when she's ready, I suppose. There's no rush to that." This from Melanin. Mama says, Cheryl don't want a conspiracy charge. She says she don't know nothing about she did. She said, I don't know nothing about nothing. Okay. I don't know nothing about loving. This from ES. What's up, ES? How you doing today? This is from ES. Says the ambulance was part of the cover up and moving them around unnoticed, possibly. But why put him in a surgical gown? Right? Like, even if, okay, let's say we go with this theory, right? They put him in, they put all of them in an ambulance to move them around town so they look less suspicious. Okay, but you didn't have to take his clothes off. You know what I mean? What was that for? In case you got pulled over and they wanted to see, they're not pulling over no cartel members in Mexico. Let's be for real about that. That's not a thing. They're not getting pulled over. So mm, let me read some more of this article. It says that, oh, here, let me blow my screen up so you guys can read along. Hold on one second. It says here's that why does it keep taking me down here? I didn't even get that far yet. Okay. Um yes, okay. So the deceased victims only, I suppose, were covered with blankets and sheets, a source close to the investigation. And it says that the source said that one of them was dressed in surgical robe when he was found. McGee and Williams were found alive and transported back to the U.S. later that day. Williams underwent surgery in Texas. We know that much. They were in a shack. If you can see, can I zoom in on this? No, I can't zoom in. This is the shack that they were in. Um, this is where the scene was, and then this is where they were found, about 30 minutes south. It says McGee was expected to return home to Myrtle Beach this day. However, her mother said that she was officially home a couple of days later. Her mother, Barbara, told ABC 15 that the day prior, McGee was alive. Burr said that her daughter went through a living nightmare during the ordeal. A letter found, we know that they were apologizing. The Scorpion faction of the Gulf Cartel apologized to the residents of Maramatis, where the Americans were kidnapped, a Mexican woman who died in the shooting. The four Americans and their family. The Tamaulipas State Prosecutor's Office said it had seized the ambulance and the medical clinic. The Tamaulipas State Prosecutor said it had seized the ambulance and a medical clinic in Maramatis that were allegedly used to provide treatment to the Americans after the shooting. By reviewing the police surveillance video, authorities were able to identify the ambulance and find the clinic. No arrests were made at the clinic, according to the statement. So they took him to a clinic. Maybe they did. They were trying to save them. It doesn't make any sense. Why shoot him? All of a sudden, now you want to save him? This one, Roxanne Virgil says maybe someone at the doctor's office is in on it. They're using the ambulance in the clinic as a cover. I think they were trying to actually save them. I do. I do think they were trying to save them. I do. Now, here in this article from the Associated Press, I'm going to read you the caption because it's kind of small. It's right here. If you can see my mouse cursor, this caption right here says a Mexican army soldiers preparing to search a search mission for the four citizens kidnapped by gunmen at Matamoros, Mexico, Monday, March 6th. The Mexican president, Andres Obrador, said that the four Americans were going to buy medicine and were caught in the crossfire of two armed groups after they had entered Matamoros. But I think the president of Mexico kind of got that mixed up because it turns out it was elective surgery. This is March 10th. Williams' wife, Michelle, told ABC 15 that her husband had another surgery Thursday and they had moved to another facility. She added that the FBI told her that he would not be coming home anytime soon. Why would they tell her that? Why would the FBI tell his wife that? Oh, your husband's not coming home anytime soon. Is it because he's that hurt? That's strange that they would tell her that. Why would they tell her that? Oh, he's not coming home anytime soon. I'd be like, excuse me? If he had 3 superficial wounds to his legs, you can transport him back to me. That's strange. Ooh. Ooh, why would they tell her that? Yeah, something is definitely up with something's up with that too. They told her the FBI agent told why would an FBI agent tell you that and not the doctor or the nurse? That's strange. And why is she not talking to the doctor and the nurse? Why is her only point of contact between her and her husband the FBI? She should be allowed to call the hospital and talk to her husband. It's that simple. But they said he's not coming home anytime soon. That is weird. That's a weird. That's just weird. That's a weird language to use with of the victim's family. She probably is. She probably in the back of her head at least. But McGee, Latavia's home. This article is riddled with all kinds of stuff. Now Latavia's home. That's interesting. Let me look something up really quick. Let's see if this article's been updated. Okay, here, the Associated Press. Hold on one second, you guys. I was trying to see if there was any other updates. Let me get to some of your comments. This is from Taurus Season says maybe her husband is being charged with something, or he's more hurt than he can travel to. You know what I mean? Like when you're really like hurt, sometimes they can't. But why is the FBI agent telling her that? Why is not the doctor or the nurse on staff telling her that? So he's in protective custody? I don't think so, because if he was, so would Latavia, and they let Latavia go home. Plot twist, all 4 undercover agents doubtful. And we got questions for her. We do. We got a lot of questions for Latavia. I got a question for Cheryl Orange, saying that she didn't know about that Mexico. She knew well about that Mexico trip. They were talking about it so openly and candidly. We played that video on Friday from one of the victims' live streams on Facebook, and he said very openly, "Y'all ready for Mexico?" They was like excited, and she was in the back. Now she was laying down, but they were talking about it openly. It didn't seem like it was a secret. It didn't seem like it was something that they were trying to hide from each other. They all actively knew that they were going to Mexico. They did. Now, did she realize she forgot her ID? That's possible. It is a quite possibility. But when she said that she didn't know about the trip to Mexico until 15 minutes prior to arriving into Brownville, Texas, she was lying. This from Tovania says, so my question is, who really told her not to visit her husband or show her face when she's interviewing? She doesn't show her face. There's a picture of her. Remember, she said in the interview that her husband told her not to come down there for his safety, which is understandable because he doesn't know what's going on. He's just been whisked away from a one room shack to a actual medical facility. So he doesn't know what's going on. So maybe he told his, now it's understandable that Eric would tell his wife, don't come down here. Just I'll be home. But for the federal agent to be like, he not coming home anytime soon. I'd be like, what's that mean? What does that mean? My husband's not coming home anytime soon. This from B Goddess says, seems like the gunman mistaken them for someone else. When they found out it wasn't them, they intended to try to save them. It seems like a setup. Yeah, that's what it's starting to give. Like they thought it was someone else and they attempted to save them. So where are the three missing? Where are the other three Hispanic American women? Where are they? Were they ambushed too and they couldn't be saved? So they just dumped their bodies? I did the story on the three Mexican women, and I want to go to the comment section of that video because somebody left a really interesting comment on that video, and I want to read it to you because I didn't quite understand what they meant. So I don't know if they replied back. Let me see if I can find it. Why is there so many comments on these videos? Hold on. Here it is. They said that I wonder if they paid the fee. And I asked them, what fee? And they didn't reply back. Hold on one second. I want to read all of them. They wrote a lot of comments. Hold on. Okay, I'm still looking for it. There's a lot of comments on this video. I didn't think it'd have that many. Oh, Lord. I'm trying to see where is it? Why they be doing me like what? Oh, here it is. This is a content creator. She said, I live here. She said close to Pian. I don't know how to pronounce these cities. She's a very close to that port of entry. She says, yes, the streets of Reynosa and the highways of Monteria are very dangerous. She said, I've heard so many creepy stories and missing people over the years. My brother actually went missing in 2014, trying to get to Nuevo Laredo, but ended up in Tamaulipas. Then she says, we haven't heard from him since 2014. Honestly, we already lost hope because we believe the cartel took him because he didn't pay the quote. I said, I'm sorry for your loss. What is the quote? She said, Mexican cartels I think she's spelling this in English and I think it's Spanglish. So I'm going to read it to you in the best way I can. Mexican cartels collect money from small businesses to let them work. That's what the quote is, and it's paid weekly. She said, days before my brother went missing, he told me that the cartel was asking him for money and he could pay them the amount that they wanted. Wasn't getting calls to make shows. So he was a clown and he was kind of desperate for money to pay them. She said, don't trust Mexican police either because a lot of them are corrupt on the border. Damn. So it's a thing called a quote. and you have to pay the quote in order for you to be able to do business in that area, the Tamaulipas area. Now, those women might have told the cartel, we're not from Tamaulipas. We're going to Nuevo Leon. And they were probably told them, they probably bullied them. It was like, you gotta pay the quote, or you're not getting to Nuevo Leon. And I'm thinking that's how it occurred. Hold on one second, you guys. Sorry, I need to blow my nose. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking occurred, that there's some penance that needs to be paid, you know? And when you don't pay the penance, you understand what I mean? This is from Carol Ray. What's up, Carol? Says, me too. I'll listen the replay since I'm multitasking tonight. Want to hear it all. Okay. This from Tori says, are y'all okay? Are who okay? This is from Letitia, says, it's crazy, but her whole name is out here and a pic. Yeah. King's Galore says, I agree with someone earlier saying that the Gen Z cartel got lazy. They got lazy and violent. Lazy and violent. Okay. This from Gumbo says, they have all been incarcerated for drug trafficking, and they may all be working with the FBI, and it went wrong. All of them? I don't think so. The FBI doesn't send civilians out to do counterintelligence. They don't do that. If the FBI was going to do counterintelligence in Mexico, they would send field agents to do the counterintelligence, not a bunch of regular Americans with felonies. That's just not their MO. This from Bonnie Smith says, hey, Steph, someone also caught her in a story saying that she didn't have their clothes. And when she was on the guy's show, she clearly said that she has all three of the guys. She did. She was with Anderson Cooper. She absolutely said she was in a hotel room and she had all three of the gentlemen's suitcases. She did not have Latavia's suitcase. She had the three men's suit. You're absolutely right. Where was she at being caught in this lie? Did she do another interview? From Taurus Season says, that wasn't an agent she was talking to. It was the cartel. Oh, I don't think you're talking to me. This from Illuminegro says her husband told her not to show her face during an interview. But her picture's out there. So maybe, here's the thing. I think the husband doesn't have a whole lot of information, so he's just trying to protect his wife. Do you understand what I mean? Like, he doesn't know how much work the FBI is doing. He doesn't know all the counterintelligence that's being done. He may not know a whole lot, so he's just like, keep yourself safe, you know? So that's understandable. This from Roxanne says she's lying because old girl had been posting it since December. Exactly. This from Jasmine Michelle says, someone said Black folks never get in a car and not ask where. You think a Black person gonna get any person? Okay, negating their melanin. Do you think any person is going to get in a car for 10 minutes without asking where they're going? Let alone 20 hours. Okay, come on, be for real. We just got to keep it all the way together. Okay, we got to keep it all the way together. So Jacqueline says, evening from DC. Hey, I didn't, no notification. Dang. This from Amber says, 3 women went missing in Mexico and we now hear about it when the story was out weeks ago. Yeah, that's really sad. Yeah, right. But she said it was the FBI. That's according to this article. She said it was the FBI told her husband's not getting out of the hospital anytime soon. I'll pull it up. Yeah, right here. Right here. She's Williams' wife, Michelle, told ABC 15 her husband had another surgery Thursday and had been moved to another facility. She added that the FBI agent told her he would not be coming home anytime soon. This from Jeanette Pina said, they went missing 300 miles away from where no, They were supposed to be 300 miles away where the 4 Americans had got kidnapped. But the last cell phone ping from the 3 American women was pinged in the same area as the 4 Americans. So they never made it to that 300-mile destination. They never made it there. Their last cell phone ping was where the 4 Americans had got ambushed in Tamaulipas region. Yeah, that's the crazy part. They never made it to the flea market. They never made it to their destination. Ever. Which is sad. This one, Bonnie Smith says, she was speaking to one of the guys with the braids, family members. They were asking her for things, and she said that she didn't have them, that the Hotel 6 probably has them. And then Motel 6 said they didn't have them. So she checked out of the hotel. Okay, we got to backtrack. So they checked into a hotel that only had 1 day stay. You mean she checked out? Where did she go after that? Where did she go? She just left their stuff? That don't make no sense. How did she get home? Pull them. Okay, so we gotta backtrack a little bit because Cheryl Orange is getting a little sour. Okay. It's getting a little sour. So she checked into the hotel at roughly 9 o'clock in the morning because she didn't have her ID. She stayed there, and then she said by 10 o'clock she noticed that checkout was at 11, so she was trying to get on the hustle. She called the police. They checked the hotel, they checked the jails, and they checked the hospitals, and they didn't have anyone. So where does she go after that? Did she go home? Did she just fly home? This is from Sheila says, that's my thought. Where does she go when she left Motel 6? If she did fly home, then that means she did have her ID and she was lying. That means this is a good question, Tiffany. So why wouldn't she take all their bags? That means she flew home. That's what that means, right? Because if you fly home and you have to take their bags, you got to check all those bags. That's expensive. Because if she was just gonna like, okay, I'm gonna go get a rental car and drive home, she could have took their bags, right? But she can't get a rental car without an ID, which makes me believe she had an ID. Because how did she get home? Or did she go to the police station and just wait to hear from her friends? Or did the FBI pay for her to go home? Because they can do that too, you guys. Like, especially if you're in the middle of an investigation and then she's waited at the police station and then they got the FBI involved and a field agent comes out and talks with you and you just tell them, hey, I don't got any money to get home. They're gonna usually fly you home. They're gonna they'll give you a voucher to go home. So that's my thing. Did the FBI give her a voucher to fly her home after they finished, interviewing her? Because that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that they, um, after they finished interviewing her, they gave her a voucher. Because that makes sense. That to me adds up. The voucher, you know. Because how did Cheryl Orange get home? She has her ID. So the whole notion of her not having ID, you guys, you're gonna have to park that somewhere else. It's very clear she's lying. So there's no more mess about her not having her ID. That was a lie, okay? Because she had to get home somehow. Whether she got a voucher from the federal government after she sat down and did her interview with them, whether she went and got a rental car, right, with her credit card and ID, this is done. I'm not arguing it anymore. She had her ID. We know she had her ID. We know she has some form of ID. So I want to get that notion out of her head. What we're trying to figure out is how she got home. No, they don't. They only require for the person checking in, not the guests. So we don't got to worry about how she got into the hotel. So let's say, for example, she told him, I don't have my ID. And one of the other people was like, okay, don't worry, I'll get the hotel. And then everyone checks in. You only need an ID for the person checking in, not your guest. That'd be illegal because there's no dealings to why, right? Yeah, she could have took a Greyhound home. Child. This from Letitia Hatch says, she could have had their bags flown back to their families. She could have, but she didn't. Who is that? Mrs. Najari's. Who is that? Who is that? This is from 15. The boss says, yeah, she definitely had the ID, but why lie if she didn't? Because she didn't want to go to Mexico. It's that simple. If I was going with you on a trip, I don't know why she went. She already knew they were going to Mexico. I don't know why she just didn't want to go, but that's her business. She ain't gotta go. You know what I mean? She ain't gotta go. She doesn't have to go to Mexico. So whether she lied and said she didn't have her ID, did have her ID, said I didn't know about the trip, I do know about it, doesn't matter. I'm with her. But at the same time, I wouldn't have agreed to drive 20 hours and not go to Mexico. If we're driving 20 hours, I'm going to Mexico because the first thing I'm thinking of is I want a cocktail. So maybe she was like, I don't want to go. Set up. How though? That we don't know. We don't know when she left. That's crazy. I've never experienced that. Maybe Vegas is different. I've checked in a hotel with plenty of people. No one ever asked for both of our IDs. They would only ask for the ID of the person who room it's booked under. I've never been to a hotel with friends or family where they were like, show me everybody quickly, pull out your ID. I've never had that. If they do that, they should quit doing it. It seems weird. It just seems like a weird policy to have, but I guess Vegas is different because everyone's drinking. So, they want to split the responsibilities. You understand what I mean? So maybe that's a little bit different, but I've checked into hotels all across America, Texas, DC, California, Las Vegas too, everywhere. I've never experienced that. So maybe it's something new, but I've been checking in a hotel since I was 25. So that's a new policy for me. I literally just got back from Chicago. They never asked all of that. Yeah, they've never asked all of that ever. They never asked. I've never seen them ask that ever. I'd be like, I need 3 keys. They just give me 3 keys. They never. I don't know. That's weird. Maybe that's just something for you. I don't know. Maybe it's racial profiling for some people. I don't know. Maybe they just don't racially profile me. They just like just give her the keys. So I don't know. But I want to get back to this here setup. So if it was a setup, how would that work? How would Cheryl Orange know cartel members in Mexico? Ooh. Okay, let's play out this scenario, right? Let me just play this out. Tell me what y'all think. So they plan a trip to Mexico, right? To go get drugs. But it's Cheryl's people. And Cheryl's like, I know everybody in Mexico. We can go. They're gonna load up the car and we can get out of there. You understand what I'm trying to say? Are you following me? It's Cheryl's plan. It's Cheryl's plan. And they're like, okay, bet, let's go. You know, Cheryl's like, oh, my man, he do it all the time. He run for them all the time. You know, they get to Mexico. She goes, oh, I don't have my ID. Because what are the odds, man? You know how many people travel to Mexico every day? What are the odds? 5 friends on a whim decide to go and do some whatever they're doing in Mexico, and then boom, they get ambushed. What are the odds? They're literally astronomical. You know? This from Odessa Moore. What's up, Odessa? Says my daughter and I went to Vegas in November and I had to show ID because the room was in my name. No one asked my daughter's ID. Yeah, because it's just not common. But hey, if they see you and they'd be like, y'all, this is like a sketchy group. Everyone show me your IDs. I guess that's up to the concierge, you know? This from Double H says, I think Orange was left behind purposely in case the deal went left. Possibly. So you mean they knew she had her ID and everyone just said, no, you stay behind in case the deal goes left? I didn't see nothing about Cheryl. Literally nothing. I think it's because we found out so late that she was with the group. And after they had already exposed everyone else's arrest records, Cheryl was the last one. So they were like, there's no point of pulling it up. But I'm curious if she does. Yeah, that too. They were alleging that Cheryl was having an affair with one of the gentlemen. This from Martina Dillard. Martina says, could they have sent in the police? A sting operation, the FBI was on it so fast, like they had tabs on other people. No, you guys, this is not. The federal government does not engage in using civilians for counterintelligence. They might use it for local drug stuff going on, right, as a paid informant, but they're not going to send U.S. citizens across the border to deal with a malicious, violent cartel group. That's not a part of America's MO. It's just not a part of it. I feel like this might be a rumor swirling around the internet streets. That's not possible. It's not possible. It's just not. It's like nearly impossible. They can use you, the police can use you for all kinds of informant snitching on each other in the streets. But they're not going to be like, okay, you're an informant. We're going to send you all the way to Afghanistan to go get us some pure heroin. They're not going to do that with Americans. Okay. They might do it in a local neighborhood, but they're not doing it for counterintelligence operations overseas or across land. That would be asinine. It would be a detriment to all counterintelligence efforts. And if you're paying field agents from $183,000 a year plus pension upwards to $500,000 a year, why would they send middle class Americans when they could send some of their top, brightest, and best well trained field agents out of Quantico? No, let's just send a regular mom of 6. That makes no sense. The math has to math when we come up with these theories, right? And there's no shade to you, Martina, but I've heard this a couple of times. The math has to math. They're not going to send an untrained mom of 6 versus a field agent who was trained at Quantico and counterintelligence with service weapons. They're not, come on, let's be for real. Does that even make sense? Does that even sound safe? It doesn't. So yeah, that theory that they're paid informants, they're not. The U.S. is not doing that. That would be a waste of money. They can send a drone in to do it. You know. This is from Gumbo says, have you seen the full video of the car chase before they got caught and ran them into the road? It's on Facebook. No, but you can send it to us. I appreciate it. You said what was on Cheryl's record? Curious. I'd like to know. I don't know who that is. Tanya TKO. Who is that? And what was in her record? You got to let us know. This from Gumble says, I said the same thing. She was a safety net and did her job and let people know that they were missing. Yeah, that's possible. That's possible. She could be telling the news outlets, oh, I didn't have my ID, so I stayed behind. When in actuality, they told her to stay behind in case they didn't come back. She was a point of reference. That makes sense. It does. Because I don't believe nobody forgot their driver's license. She's too old to be forgetting her license. You know she got a coin purse. Come on, let's be for real. Like, she's too old to be like, oh, I forgot my ID. Now I'm young enough where I can forget my ID. But Cheryl, she in her late 40s. Well, you definitely got a coin purse. Yeah, that's possible too. Or they left it at the Motel 6, and the people at Motel 6 just went through it and took what they wanted and dumped what they didn't. Y'all, stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Okay, I'm just saying. This is from is it Prinsna always says Cheryl is going through a bad custody case with her kids, with some serious accusations, and crossing the border would not be in her favor. What are the accusations? Can you let us know? Also, just tag us so we can watch it, so we can review it and analyze it. He said, not too hard on the 40s. Y'all, I'm almost in my 40s. I'm in my very late 30s. Okay, so I'm talking about myself too. Don't worry. Okay, I'm talking about myself too. All right. I'm in my late 30s, y'all. I'm almost 40. I know I look young, but granted, black don't crack. So, but yeah, you understand what I mean? Like, something else. There's something else. Yeah. So what are the serious, I want to know the serious allegations. I'm curious about what the allegations are in regards to Cheryl Orange, because if they're serious, what are they? What are they? What are the allegations that Cheryl is going through? I want to know. I'm nosy and curious. I want to know, what are the allegations? I'm waiting to see if someone tags me in that video. That's what I'm waiting for. This from Topher says, poor Cheryl. It's always the slow friend. I think she overslept and they left her. That's possible. That's possible. That's quite possible. I know they won't tell us. I wish they would just tell us. What is it? What was she doing? It'd be taking like 2 strokes just to tell us what it is, and people will wait the entire live stream. I'll come back a week later and they'll be like, "Oh, girl, I forgot. The allegations was." I'd be like, "We needed that a week ago." That's what I would like to know. This from Shaw said, unlawful entry and boosting was on Orange's record. But I want to know about those other allegations. This from Letitia says, do anyone know if there's a copy of the police report floating around that she had made? I don't think so. I think it's a very lock and key. I think it's part of the investigation with the FBI. So I don't think it's going to be released yet. If Cheryl doesn't have a copy of it to release it, I don't think we're going to get it unless somebody in the police department releases it. But I don't think we're going to be able to get it. I would like to get it. You understand what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. The whole story. Hold on one second, you guys. Let me turn my light on. Okay, there we go. That's better. The whole story is convoluted as hell. Okay. Just keep it all the way real with y'all. It's convoluted. It's convoluted. This is from Lewis Harris says, how often did the lady in the hotel communicate with the people in the van? She said, okay, so let's go over her timeline. She said that she told them that she didn't have her ID, so she couldn't cross the border. And sometime at like between 8 and 9 a.m., they dropped her off at the Super 8, Motel 6, whatever, the motel. She said that when she got to the motel, she took a shower and she fell asleep. She said she was exhausted from the 20-hour car ride. So roughly around 5 p.m. in the afternoon or the evening, she started calling them and she didn't get any answer. So she started calling their cousins and friends back home and saying, hey, have you heard from them? And she was getting like little bits. They're like, yeah, they texted us like 8 or 9 hours ago, but we haven't been able to reach them. So she was concerned. So she called the police department and asked them if they could check the local hospitals and jails because her friends had not returned from Mexico. After the police department called the local hospitals and jails and couldn't find them, and then the police were like, oh, they're in Mexico. They immediately alerted the FBI that there were missing Americans in Mexico. They didn't even play around. They just said, okay, they're missing. Let's just call the FBI. She said she kept trying to call them and reach them throughout the night and then went to bed. And then by the morning, roughly around 10 a.m., it got close to checkout. And then she tried to call them again. And then she checked out. And I think she said sometime that day, I don't know if she said it before checkout or just after checkout, then she realized that something had occurred in Mexico with them because it was trending all over the news. So that's how she found out about them. We don't know when she left Brownsville, Texas. We don't know if she took a flight home. We don't know if she talked to the FBI and they gave her a voucher to go home. We don't know how she got home. We just know that she got home. So that's the timeline. Thank you very much. Let me pull it up here. Now my messenger is kind of wonky. It's not letting me log in. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna try to log in. I don't have a message. Maybe it's in my spam. No, it's not here. It's not here. Hold on one second. Oh, snap. I'm in here. What is this? This is a long post. I gotta read this, but there's also a video attached to it. So let me read this. Is this Cheryl? Is this Cheryl's page? It looked like her. Is this Cheryl? She look. I ain't gonna hold you. She looked like a side piece. Okay. Okay, that was okay, let me read this. This is she looked like a side piece. Okay. So this is from December 26th of 2021. zoom in so you can see it, and then I'll read it. It says, in this video, my daughter Samira is being recorded for 2 minutes and 19 seconds, saying that she wants to harm herself. Cut and herself. This footage was passed along to all attorneys, including judges' assistants. I was then told by the GMA was comforting her, remind you she is clearly in the video investigating madness between two sisters and a grown woman who was taunting my daughter, telling her not to talk to her sister, as saying if she comes home to me, I'm going to abuse her and she will be, SA'd. The system has ruined my kids alongside my abuser. The courts have been presented with the same recording as you all are about to see. And then it says, my daughter in recent allegations, not mentioning to mention Maya, my oldest, allegedly said that she wanted to harm herself due to missing myself and her siblings. And she got 2 trips to 2 different psych wards. Remind you, she has never had any mental health history ever. It's interesting. Hold on one second. Let me close these out. Okay. I'm not gonna play the video because it's probably graphic.
Don't listen to Imala. I can't no more. We got another part of what's happening. So I told you don't talk to Imala. She's stressing you. I'm talking to Imala. Yeah, Imala, look what she did to you. Look what she did. We got another case, Ma. That's on me now. I have anxiety, okay? It's bad. It's bad. Everything is bad. I don't get touched. Now you know what happened to me. You got touched yourself. Ain't even tell nobody. Nobody. Like, that's not fair, Mom. We got another case because of mommy. My life is so bad. Susan, don't worry. I don't even want to be alive right now, okay?
So did she ever get custody of her kid? Did she ever get her kids back in her custody? Let me follow her page. Oh, why won't it let me follow it? You're following this page. Okay. She hasn't posted anything in a while. Cheryl, she don't look like a side piece to y'all. This side piece energy. That's okay. This was December 2021. She says the last time her daughters saw each other. I guess they separated them in foster care. Oh, that's really sad. Any pics of her page of Latavia, best friends are usually on each other's pages. I could check. Hold on. Let's go to her photos. Okay, let's go to her albums. She got a lot of profile pics. I know that much. Child. Okay, Cheryl. But no. I'm trying to see. No, there's none that I could find. No, there's none I can find. Are y'all sure this is Cheryl? Maybe I'm outdated. Yeah, I guess this is her. Mm. Them pics. Mm. Mm. I understand. Okay, so but we don't know if she ever got custody of her children back. We don't know, right? Um, I guess that's kind of up for debate, right? Is that up for debate? Yeah. Hmm. Let me get some of y'all comments. Sorry about that. This is Belinda says, is Cheryl non-American? Maybe this is why she could not cross the border. No, she's American. Hmm. Y'all don't age shame people. She just looked like a side piece. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's just side piece energy, you know? That's just what she looked like, you know? So I don't know. I do know the story is strange. I do know the story about the three missing women is also strange. Obviously, more reports are going to come out. I'm interested to hear from Latavia. She needs to come forward and talk. That's who I want to hear from. Because if Cheryl Orange could take her behind over to Anderson Cooper, Latavia can make her way to Gail King. Okay, she can take her way to Gail King. Let's be for real. She can make her way to Gail King because we need to know what happened. I want the story from the beginning, and I need someone to ask questions. I don't need Anderson. And the crazy part about Anderson Cooper is that he is an incredible journalist. So the fact that he asked her all those softball questions, I'm like, get to the nitty gritty. He didn't ask her, well, when checkout happened, when did you leave the hotel? How long did you stay in Brownville? He never asked her that. He never asked her nothing. Yeah, I want to hear from her too. This is from Renetta. Says, I work with a woman named Renetta. What's up? Says, I don't know anything about the kidnapping story and I want to know about it. Well, we've been covering it for about 5 days. We've been covering the story for roughly about 5 days, just going over all the details and the information that have emerged from the story. So I encourage you to go back and listen to it here on the Nosy Bystanders live show, so you can get caught up. It's about 7 Americans at 2 different times, the week of the February 24th and the week of March 3rd, who were subsequently kidnapped, gone missing, and then ambushed by the cartel. And the story's coming out, and it's just very strange to a lot of people. First, they said they were going down there for elective surgery, a tummy tuck, but they didn't stay it's not like they didn't travel. They drove there, which was strange because nobody would have elective surgery and get back in a car for 20 hours. The second part about the story is they had to check out at their hotel for only a day. It's all weird. It's all weird and speculative. This from Kay Smith says, did she really have an appointment set? According to the doctor, no. But according to those DMs, yes. So somebody's lying. And I think it's the doctor. Because why was she messaging you, telling you that she's going to meet up with you? And why were you telling her if you don't have cash, they're going to cancel your operation? So someone's lying. Someone's lying. Because Latavia definitely proved that she was talking to somebody at that doctor's office. Then the doctor said that he was going to um do a live stream for his patients and his new patients and former patients because they have a Facebook group chat, and he was going to do a live stream in that group, but then he canceled it last minute. Why'd you cancel it, Dr. Chavez? Why'd you cancel the live stream? We wanted to hear from Dr. Chavez. I do have someone in the group who said that once he goes live, she's going to screen record the whole thing and send it to me. So, yeah. This from Carlos says, I think that the doctor has something to do with it. Me too. He can't fool me. Yeah, you're not gonna fool me. Cause come on. Mm-mm. Said plot twist, his receptionist set them up. And on that note, that's all I got for you guys. On that high note, that's all I got for you guys today. We'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Here's an OC by Standards Live. It's daylight savings time. Please set your clocks in accordance. We'll be back here for our show again at 5 p.m. Pacific, right? 8 p.m. Eastern. Here at the Nosy Bystanders Live. Time doesn't change. You guys just do. Okay, make sure you smash the like button on your way out. Don't be ignorant. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay? Have a good night. And if you find anything, send it to us so we can read it and review it. Okay? Bye-bye.